So, welcome everybody. My name is Corey Lubring, and I'm the PBR and coordinator here at DO-Touch.NET. Thank you for joining us for this month's episode of Let's Talk About OMM Research. Before we begin, let's take a moment for the housekeeping rules of the webinar. First off, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat and tell us where you're from. We also invite everyone to turn on their cameras so we can be united as an OMM research community, but no pressure to do so if you're eating lunch or something else. Second, if you're having technical issues during the webinar, please put a message in the chat. Third, if you have questions or comments during the presentation, please feel free to type them into the chat and address each other's questions and comments there as well. Also, we will have time for discussion and questions at the end of the presentation. And lastly, please keep in mind that this webinar is being recorded and will be placed on the DO-Touch.NET public YouTube channel. So this month, today is our Let's Talk About OMM Research Network update for DO-Touch.NET with a man who needs no introduction, Dr. Degenhart. And so please help us in welcoming Dr. Degenhart.
Well, thank you, Corey. Appreciate the information. And I want to welcome everybody back to LTOR after having the summer off. And now that we're all kind of back into that fiscal year, at least those of us that are in academia, we're all settled in and ready to see what the fiscal year of 2024-25 brings us. And we're really excited about what DO-Touch.NET has been doing and what we see is going to be happening over the upcoming fiscal year. And we're excited to give you that information today. So are you seeing the slides? Okay, excellent. Okay, so we have several things to talk about today, and we're going to talk about our annual meeting. Typically, that occurs at the convocation in March. We have updates from the executive committee, our special interest groups, which were formed at our last annual meeting, and some follow-up on the research that we're currently involved in. So let's begin by talking about Convocation 2025. And I can say that I'm very excited about this year's program. First of all, it's a couple weeks later than usual. So for those of us that are tired of winter, getting down to Florida should be a nice change. But the program, I really think, is quite exceptional this year, on the shoulders of giants, past, present, and future. And they are very interested in making sure that research within the field of OMM is highlighted part of this meeting. DO-Touch.NET, as it has now been for probably a good 10 years, maybe not quite, but close to 10 years of being present at the convocation with our exhibitor booth. Corey will be there to keep everybody up to date, to update your information and to bring on new members into the network. The Research Institute overseeing the network is also going to be there in an unusual capacity. I will be providing a keynote on Thursday in regards to research and its relationship to the shoulders of the giants, past, present, and future. And it will certainly highlight aspects of the work that we've been able to accomplish within DO-Touch.NET. But its primary work is really looking at really fundamental aspects of palpation, particularly diagnostic palpation, and what we've been able to do over the years to help provide objective feedback to people with those skills or learning to have those skills. And so we'll have a major role on Wednesday and Thursday associated with those labs. We're actually having to bring down a major trailer of equipment and instrumentation for this lab. So we're very excited about offering that. As a result of that, it's going to allow us to kind of think out of the box in regards to the DO-Touch.NET annual meeting. In the past, it's been either Wednesday morning. Last year, it was kind of squeezed out and placed into Thursday afternoon. And our goal is always to get more and more membership to participate in the annual meeting. And so this year, in order to hope that we're going to be able to have an unprecedented year of participation for our annual meeting, we decided to make it a virtual conference. And we have a significant amount of experience using GatherTown as a very engaging platform for having a virtual meeting. Our intention is to keep it as a 4-hour block as we've done in the past. And we are planning on soliciting membership in regards to the day of the week, the time of the week, and the month that we should schedule it to engage membership, as much of membership as possible. So look for that survey. Give us your information so we can make sure we are connecting not only with our U.S. members, but throughout the world, our membership at this meeting. Are there any questions about our activities at convocation or with the annual meeting? Okay. So we have had an executive committee as part of DO-Touch.NET now for several years. I think it began prior to COVID, but COVID kind of created an unexpected impact on the executive committee. So over the last couple of years, we have been able to kind of hone in the working of the executive committee. And so we're now at a point where we are going to begin replacing about a third of the members of the executive committee every year over a 3-year period of time, so that we're bringing in fresh people, fresh ideas on a regular basis. But we also have the expertise of those who have been there to help, maintain continuity with the decisions that are being made. So this fall, between now and December, we are going to be soliciting nominations for the executive committee. There will be an email that will be sent out to membership soliciting nominations. You can nominate yourself, or you can nominate someone else. I do recommend that if you are nominating someone else, that it's not a surprise to them, but that you reach out to them and check and make sure that they're willing to take on that role before they are nominated. So what is that role? So here you can see an outline of the purpose of the executive committee. And so they assist in the governance of the network. They also help to review the portfolio of our research. And so when people put in a letter of intent for a particular direction for new research within the network, the executive committee, as well as the coordinating committee here at our coordinating group here in Kirksville, will review the letter of intent and will determine whether it is an area of interest, whether it is feasible, whether there is a sense that there's a good knowledge of how to deliver this research idea to the network. And so that's a very important role of the executive committee. They also promote membership, helping with recruitment, engagement, and communication procedures. And they also involved in reviewing publications and major presentations to make sure that those are representing the network appropriately. So the executive committee is really the leadership voice of membership. And that's why it's important for us to have a robust executive committee representing the many different groups within the network. So typically we have at least one international member. We have a member from residency, from a residency trainer level, from academic institution, and those also from practices at large. So our minimum members would be 6, but we would increase that size if we have that level of interest. A term for being on the executive committee is for 3 years, and we are asking executive committee members to participate in an hour-long meeting in the spring and the fall. Usually the spring meeting is in association with our annual meeting, and then the fall 6 months later, which this year was earlier in September. So are there any questions about the executive committee's responsibilities? Does anybody have any questions about what it entails to be that, in case you are thinking about perhaps joining the committee? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on and give you an update on our special interest groups. So for those that attended our annual meeting in March at Colorado Springs, either in person or virtually, you remember that part of our primary goals were the establishment of special interest groups as a way of identifying research areas that are of importance to membership, to people who are at various aspects of clinical activity and in education. And so from that, we developed 5 special interest groups. And at this time, I'd like to turn the mic over to Corey Lubring, who has been facilitating the work of these special interest groups and will give us an update on their progress.
All right. Hello, everybody. It is I, Corey, back again, chiming in here to give an update on the current progress of our special interest groups across the board. We're going to be starting out with our special interest group on looking into women's health in OMT. And this special interest group has had a couple meetings thus far where they have kind of narrowed down their focus on research topics for this initial project to looking into the use of OMT on women during pregnancy and also during the postpartum period after delivery, and also potentially including in care of the infant directly after birth as well. And now that covers a pretty large time area and a lot of different research, areas of research that can be done within that period. And the special interest group is wanting to, on this next step, get some input from the DO-Touch.NET community on what areas members would be interested in the special interest group creating a project kind of focused on, just to get some member feedback and buy-in from the community at large. So a survey will be coming out from that special interest group here in the near future, I would say by the end of this month or the very beginning of next month, just to get that input from the DO-Touch community at large as what areas members think that the special interest group should be focusing on within research within that pregnant women and postpartum period and infant area. Now, that's not saying that they haven't come up with other research topics related to women's health. This is just that initial research project. They don't currently have another meeting on the books at this time. Once that survey goes out, they're going to see if there's also any community interest in people helping develop that project. And once we get that input, we're going to get another meeting scheduled at that time. The next special interest group is the non-musculoskeletal interest group. And the non-musculoskeletal interest group has met once thus far. They are meeting again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And so if people of the musculoskeletal interest group or other members are interested in joining, if you're not part of that special interest group, you can always reach out to me and I'd be happy to forward that Zoom link if you all are a part of the special interest group, and we will resend that invite out here at the end of the day today to make sure people have that Zoom link readily available if they want to join. But as for what they are currently looking into, is they're looking into research related to 4 topics. One of those is the use of OMT in treating GERD or acid reflux, the use of OMT and treating tension headaches or migraines, the use of OMT on pregnancy outcomes, kind of related to that same topic that Women's Health is looking into, and the use of OMT on postpartum pregnancy outcomes, which again is related to that same kind of topic that Women's Health is looking into. What they wanted to do after the first meeting is, per their request, I came up with a literature search of recent research that's being done into those 4 areas, and the special interest group members are reviewing that literature research to kind of see what gaps are there, what research has been done, so that they can better focus down their research question within the next meeting. All right, and then the next special interest group on the list is our pediatric special interest group. And they are currently partnering they have 2 avenues going. One of the avenues that the pediatrics group is doing is partnering with the Women's Health special interest group on looking into the use of OMT on infants after pregnancy and those pregnancy outcomes and such, because that is very closely related to pediatric health. But there is also interest that has been given into looking into the use of OMT in treating kind of like higher level anxiety within adolescents. And the pediatric group is going to continue to explore that topic at their next meeting, which is currently scheduled for Wednesday, September 25th at 12 p.m. U.S. Central Time. So again, for any of these meeting times, if people want to get involved with those, please reach out to me just at the DO-Touch.NET ATSU email if you don't have that link. And like I said, we will resend those links out later today to the special interest groups to make sure everyone has those that would like to attend. The next special interest group is the comparison of OMT to other healthcare professions. And they are currently scheduled to have their first meeting on Friday, September 27th at 9 a.m. U.S. Central Time. They were planning to meet in August, but there were some scheduling conflicts, and that did not come to fruition. So we've got that rescheduled here for the end of the month. And so hopefully we'll get that special interest group rolling here at the end of next week. And lastly, we have the special interest group that was looking into somatic dysfunction and key lesions. And they met at the end of August for the first time. And they were, again, just trying to narrow down potential research topics. And their top ones were looking at terminology or vocabulary when it comes to somatic dysfunction versus osteopathic lesions versus question mark, question mark. Another one that came up was identifying somatic dysfunction phenomena in migraines versus tension headaches. And the last was going beyond the TARP findings to things with more sensitivity and specificity. And yes, Dr. Downs, yeah, U.S. Central Time, whatever Chicago time is. That's what I'm referring to as in time zones. I don't. Is it Central Standard Time or? I'm not entirely sure of the difference
Central
between the
Daylight
acronyms.
Time.
Okay, so yeah, that's what it would be. Yes. And the somatic dysfunction group is planning on meeting next Monday, the 23rd at 12 p.m. U.S. Central Time. So we are still in the early stages of focusing down research topics, getting members together and getting input from the community. But the special interest groups are moving. And we just want to reiterate to everyone watching that we want our members to attend not only to get your feedback and get your involvement, but also to just stress that you do not need to have a research background to feel that you can get involved in these special resource groups. We want members from all different levels of research experience to feel welcome to be involved, because not only is this a learning experience, but it's also a way just to network with other people within the network and get research going that is driven by you, the membership base. And then I pass it back to you, Dr. Degenhart. You are muted.
Thank you, Corey. I just wanted to put into the slide just so that everybody, this is the most recent article summarizing OMT's mechanisms for non-musculoskeletal phenomena. So this just was just came out last week from iJOM and Elsevier journal. And so you can locate it here. This was done by an manual therapy profession authorship group. It had significant rigor, including basic scientists as well as clinicians. So as I said, this just came out last week, and it would be good reading for those who are interested in understanding where we're at from a science perspective in regards to OMT's influence on non-musculoskeletal conditions. Okay, so let's now give you an update on the current research that's occurring within DO-Touch.NET. So with our study evaluating the impact of OMT on people on the management of post-COVID syndrome, we are looking at sending out a survey in the near future that will help to begin wrapping up this study. So over the past year, we have been active in recruiting members to contribute information about the patients they are caring for with post-COVID syndrome. Unfortunately, we were unable to recruit an adequate number of sites in order to meet our recruitment goals. And we've tried numerous avenues to try to achieve that, and we've not been successful. So we're in the process of closing down that study. Part of the study was to look at the feasibility of performing this type of study within a practice-based research network. And so this final survey helps us to understand why, in the end, it was not feasible for us to complete it. So it is just as important for us to get your feedback from this survey as it would have been for participating at an earlier stage of the study. So please keep an eye out for that and complete it for us so we can have some meaningful perspectives to report from the work that we've done in this area. Are there any questions about the status of that study? Okay. Our next study that's currently active is a card study, and this card study was launched from not last year's, but the year previous annual meeting. And this, we were developing card studies as a way of easily engaging membership. And so in this study, we are asking participants to be able to report on 20 consecutive patients, each of them unique adults, information about any non-musculoskeletal aspects of the care that was given on that to the patient. It is something that can be very quickly completed, sometimes within 30 seconds, if not any of that care was given, or it could be no more than 5 minutes to outline, the nuances of what the non-musculoskeletal condition that was involved in the treatment and what was performed in that treatment. So when we look at completing this entire study, it would require no more than an hour spread out over multiple days to complete. We are still in the process of recruiting members into that. We have many members that are active in it, but we still would like to get a few more. So please consider that. If you are with an institution that requires IRB review, we've had success, working with other IRBs and getting it through their review quickly. But for those that are in active independent practice or at clinics, our IRB review here in Kirksville will cover your responsibilities for review for your particular site. So we don't know how to make it any more streamlined or simple for members to get involved. Are there any questions about this study that would help clarify where we stand with it? Okay. All right. So before we introduce what our next LTAR is going to be, I would just like give a chance to, I definitely see some new members online. So if we can maybe at this time go back to the main screen. And if you wouldn't mind, if you feel comfortable putting on your camera, and let's just go around. We have a moment to introduce each other so people know, who we are and what stage and practice we're in. I think that would be nice before we do our final wrap up.
Would you like to start us out, Dr. Degenhart?
So why don't I'm just going to go through the pictures as they're laid out on my screen. So Dr. Gustafson.
Hi, I'm Dr. Gustafson. I'm transitioning to a job at teaching part-time and working in a clinic part-time in New Mexico, teaching in one of the medical schools there. I've been teaching OMM and just finished for a number of years in the medical schools, and I just finished a year there in Kirksville doing the +1 year program.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Joy.
Hi, I'm Kelly Joy. I am currently in Joplin, Missouri at the Kansas City campus in Joplin, teaching OMT and hopefully starting a pediatric practice soon.
Great, thank you. All right, our Dr. Jackson, our keynote speaker from our last annual meeting and the director of the A.T. Still Research Institute. Go ahead and give us more information about yours.
Thank you, Dr. Dagenhart. It's great to see everyone again. Marie Jackson, and I've been with ATSU for about a year and a half now, so very excited to be here. And I come from a clinical research background, 30 plus years. And so, yeah, I'm here and really enjoying this team and all of the work, amazing work that you all were doing. Thank you.
Dr. Jackson, why don't you just give a shout out for the IBRS this fall?
Thank you. So our IBRS, which is our Interdisciplinary Biomedical Research Symposium, is happening on November 16th, which is a Saturday. We would love for you to participate and or be a judge. It is a virtual platform on the GatherTown as well as in person at Kirksville. And our theme is collaboration. And so our keynote speaker is Dr. Chad Cook from Duke. And so we're really excited about the program and all of the abstracts that we'll be seeing. We usually have around between 80 and 100 posters to look at and talk about. So we would love to see you there in any way that you can participate.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. Dr. Downs.
Yeah, Jed Downs. I'm in I don't know. I'm in private practice in the Madison, Wisconsin area. I really finished up my training in 2016 at the Canadian College of Osteopathy after having been an allopathic occupational medicine doc for quite a while. I would say that I will just put in a plug for the card study. I started doing my cards yesterday, and it is pretty straightforward. And it took me a while to get to understand that if you didn't say that there were non-musculoskeletal complaints, you wouldn't get asked what conditions the person was seen for. So anyway, figured that out, and otherwise, yeah, just it's easy. Let's do it. All right, next.
All right, thanks, Dr. Downs. Dr. Stacy, welcome.
Trying to unmute, but my computer's being difficult. Here we go. Hi, I'm Steve Stacy. I'm the Director of Osteopathic Education for the Mayo La Crosse Family Medicine Residency Program, and I am I'm the Family Medicine Regional Chair of Research in this region of Mayo Clinic, and I just actually spent last weekend with Brian at the Mayo Osteopathic Research and Education Conference that next year is going to be here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. So love to have anybody join that who's interested. It's a great group that really practices the three co-equal branches of medicine: patient care, education, and research.
Yeah, it was a great conference. Your team just did an awesome job, and it's just going to continue to grow and become richer each year, I am sure. So we're looking forward to seeing it at your program there in La Crosse next year. Okay, Dr. Mazzara.
Hi, everybody. You can hear me okay, right? Angelique Mazzara. I am in Chicago, Illinois. I teach at a community health center site here in Chicago for ATSU Mesa osteopathic students. So I facilitate their second year of OPP study and practice. And then I also teach at Chicago Osteopathic Medical School at Midwestern in their OB-GYN program. I'm in private practice, 100% OMM. I part-time. I'm semi-retired, if you will, I retired from hospital physical medicine and rehab as well as OMM practice last year. So I love OMM and I needed to continue it. So I have a day a week practice that I conduct.
Great, thank you. Okay, so student Dr. Isabel Gwynn.
Hi. Good to see y'all again. I am Isabel Nguyen. I'm a second year DO and MPH student at Western University of Health Sciences Comp in Pomona, California. I'm not a practicing physician. But I'm gonna get there someday. So I'm participating in the women's health and non-musculoskeletal SIGs currently, and just trying to see how I can learn and help out. So nice to meet you all.
Yeah, Isabel has been present at these meetings. She's been a great contributor. She's just so energized to learn and to participate. So thank you for continuing to be part of this process. And because it won't be long, and you'll be, taking over, the show here. So we want you to basically kind of get ready for that responsibility. Okay. All right. So and then certainly. I'm looking forward to having Jeff Brodowski go ahead and also introduce yourself. Okay, Jeff. We'll give you a couple more seconds in case you're having troubles getting connected. Otherwise, we'll move on and finish up with the program. All right, very good. All right. So our next LTOR will be on October 17th, and it's at a slightly different time because our speaker joins us from Australia. Gary Fryer, he is not only a PhD, but he's also a DO. He has been the head principal of their osteopathic training program there in Melbourne. He has been a head of research there. Currently, he has a different hat as well. So he has done pretty steady research over the last 20 years within the field of OMM. Gary spent a couple of years here at the Institute doing a 2-year research fellowship, and certainly was doing research in the area that he will be talking about. What am I palpating? Trying to determine the nature of abnormal paraspinal tissue texture. I can guarantee you that this will be evidence-based and provocative. And so I encourage you all to write it on your calendar, highlight the new time. In case the time is not good, that does not mean that you'll miss it, because every session that we do is recorded and is placed into our YouTube channel. And so please join in, and we'll look forward to seeing everyone at that time. I will turn things now over to Corey for the final wrap up.
Yes, and we just wanted to recognize Dr. Brodowski. He put a chat comment in. So it's all right that your app locked up. But Dr. Bodowski is the OR director for the Family Medicine Residency in Sacramento, California. And so we welcome you joining us. Thank you all for joining us today for this network update for DO-Touch.NET. As Dr. Dagenhart said, our next one in October is an hour later than this one. But it is going to be a very good program. So if you can make arrangements to attend, we would look forward to seeing everybody there. And that registration email will be going out tomorrow for the first time. And then we'll have the regular ones that will come out as reminders after that. So thank you all for attending today. Wonderful to see everybody. And we will see you all next month or at the special interest group meetings.